The economy was very much in focus for voters. It was a big topic in last night's GOP debate.
Tuesday night, I watched Story Time with Barack Obama, and I got to tell you, it sounded like everything in the world was going amazing.
The president tried to paint a rosy picture of jobs. And, you know, he's right. If you're a Washington lobbyist, if you make your money in and around Washington, things are doing great.
You have taxes that are too high. You have regulations. I mean, come on, they're affecting everybody here, particularly our small businesses. They're in a position where they're smothering people. And I mean, are you kidding me? We're nowhere close to a balanced budget or fiscal discipline.
Right. Well, we've got all-star analysis with Fox News contributor Meghan McCain and Progressive Radio host Chris Hahn, a former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer. And we are asking here today, who is best positioned in a weak economy to become president of the United States? All right. Meghan, I'm going to start with you. The Republicans seem to have different policies, shall we say, that they are putting forward in this environment compared to what we have seen over the last 7 years. How much of an advantage does that give Republicans going up against perhaps Hillary Clinton?
Oh, I think Republicans, this is our election to lose. I mean, right now we're in one of the worst economies ever. It doesn't look like the future is looking bright for anyone, but especially for the millennial generation. I mean, this is an absolutely unlosable election, and Hillary Clinton is just a lot more President Obama, who I think is best suited. I actually think, and you know this better than anyone, Trish, I'm no Trump supporter, but he really sells a really good game, talking about how he knows about China and business and the world economy, and I thought that was actually the first debate last night that I will give him that he won. And I'm no Trump supporter. And just side note, since I'm going on a tangent,
I can't believe I'm hearing you say this.
He won last night. Even I have to admit, he's not my candidate. He's not for me, but you have to give credit where credit's due, and he won last night. And he really makes these tough, dense issues about the economy very accessible to the average American, even for me. And the last thing I'll say, Trish, and then I will let this go, but it was really awesome to watch you and Sandra host last night. Really awesome to see two women out there doing such an awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, you know, amazingly, two women have not hosted before, so I guess it's about time. We were honored to do it, and we had a very substantive conversation, and the candidates answered the questions, which is extraordinarily important when you're in these debates, and they don't always want to, but they did. I think it's very interesting, Meghan, though, that you're saying that about Trump, and I would agree with you. I did think he did an extremely good job last night. The dense issue of trade with China, something that, when you talk about tariffs, people's eyes just glaze over, but he brought that home. His talk about New York, that really shot Ted Cruz down very quickly. Chris, do you agree with Meghan and myself that Donald really was, really performed well, perhaps at his best? Last night.
I mean, I'm no supporter of Donald Trump either. And, take mine for what it's worth. I have New York values, but I do think that he won that debate last night. Look, Ted Cruz is clearly a master debater. He's been debating since high school. He hits all the notes, but they sound sanctimonious and disingenuous. And I don't know anybody in America who thinks he's for real, other than a few clique of his supporters. I think Donald Trump actually came across better last night than he ever had. And if the debate turns to the economy, all the polls tell me that Donald Trump is the best Republican situated to do that. He's had a lot of economic success in his life. That said, America should be reminded that the economy always does better with a Democratic president.
All right, we're gonna leave that one aside and continue talking about Trump and his candidacy and whether or not Republicans can get behind him. I mean, Meghan, you're saying credit where credit's due. A lot of establishment Republicans, if they had their choice between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, what do you think they'd be saying? Who would they actually rather see get the nomination between those two?
I think it's a really tough call, but when push comes to shove, I think Trump. I think Ted Cruz has made a lot of enemies on Capitol Hill. He's wildly unpopular. Right. As Chris just said, there's something about him. He's a beautiful orator. He's a great debater, but it's not incredibly authentic. There's something about it that seems very rehearsed, and I think it works with a segment of the population, but I think when you're talking general election nationally, it might not fly as easily.
Yeah, and there's something that doesn't seem rehearsed about Donald Trump, I would suppose.
Nothing rehearsed.
There's nothing rehearsed about Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump, this is the thing about Donald Trump. If Donald Trump prepared for these debates, he would be incredible in these debates. He's a natural debater. He's fantastic at it, but he doesn't have a lot of substance behind what he says. I think it would be very scary if he actually sat down for a week and prepared for a debate the way Meghan's dad did when he ran for president. I just think I just don't see him prepared at all.
Scary good? Like he'd be extraordinarily good.
Honestly,
okay.
Had he prepared better for these debates, the Republican nomination process would be over right now.
Well, you know, he's running a business at the same time. He's not campaigning full time. He's running his business.
He said last night he'd give it to the kids, let them run the business. You should give it to him now, let them run the business, and he should run for president. He should prepare. He would be better served. Now, look, I am frightened by the idea of a Donald Trump presidency, but if he starts preparing, he's obviously got some good political skills. He's tore these guys apart. He's still in it. I was completely wrong about him, Trish. I admit that fully. I thought he'd be out by like November. He's still in. Yeah. He's likely to win some states. It's very scary.
Well, we'll see. But again,
he was much tighter last
night,
though. I mean, he was much tighter. He was much more adult. He didn't go after the cheap jabs, except once at Jeb Bush. I mean, he's definitely turning into a different kind of candidate. I actually think he probably did prep with someone at some point because, again, you just see this evolution of this man as a candidate, and there's obvious growth. If I'm sitting here talking to Trish and telling her that I can say that he definitely won by a long shot last night, and I was very disappointed in Marco Rubio. I thought it was solid, but I expected him to come out a lot more swinging.
Very interesting. Very interesting analysis from both of you. Final word to Chris, and then I got to go.
I give a lot of credit to Maria and to Neil last night. I think that was a very well orchestrated, well run debate. I think they kept the candidates in line. I think the candidates then respected the format, and the fact that there was fewer of them on the stage, that helped as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Always does. All right, good to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.